This is the Simulation Football Minor League Playoffs on YouTube. I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting some major deja vu vibes right about now. Not only did these two teams play each other last week to close out the regular season, they faced off in the semifinals last season as well. Will it be an end to Salt Lake City's Groundhog Day, or will the Atoms continue their quest to repeat as SFLm champions? Hello everyone, I'm Tyler Falk. Glad to have you here in New Mexico for our first of the two semifinal games in the third season of the SFLm. Joining me up here in the booth is none other than Josh Circle. Josh, great to have you here. And as we saw last week, Salt Lake City struggled on third down, and they're going to have to change up their formula as if they try to get their first win over Albuquerque in their franchise history.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. Really bizarre for Salt Lake City. They got 3 interceptions off of Trellis Blanton from Albuquerque, but they only wound up with 7 points. They had trouble moving the chains, and that's got to change if they want to be able to kiss Andy McDowell to continue your Groundhog Day analogy. They've got to get it going with the passing game. That means Kelsey Brown and A Sharp need to have huge games, and the pass rush has got to be there tonight. They only had 1 sack last week that came from Bogey Barr. Everybody's got to chip in with pressure on the front 7 tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens here tonight as Salt Lake try to make amends against Albuquerque. As Albuquerque will get the ball to receive the opening kickoff, as here we go, and playoff football is underway. Good little return up to about the 26-yard line, and that is where Albuquerque and Trellis Blanton for the Atoms will take over for their first possession of the football game.
Yeah, Trellis Blanton has had a fantastic season, but he's having an even better season. Tyler is Douglas Brown, and last week he torched this same defense, 29 carries, 158 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. If you're Salt Lake City, find a way to stop Douglas Brown and then worry about everything else.
Power eye set here to begin the drive. Handoff for Douglas Brown as he makes a spin move, and it's a nice opening play for the Atoms, as more often than not, the closer, Douglas Brown, gets us going here, and sometimes he's the closer, other times he's the workhorse there, Josh.
And other times he's the opener, and then sometimes he has the lunch rush, and then sometimes the dinner rush, and then he can be the closer again too. This guy does it all.
Goal line set now for Albuquerque as we get some early laundry on the field, as good pressure up the middle by Bogey Barr will send Brown down to the backfield, but for the first time today, so RCD2 has the call.
Yeah, that's going to be offsides against Salt Lake City, just a little too fired up in a second and short situation. They know who's getting the ball. They know they got to stop Douglas Brown, but you got to wait till the ball snapped, fellas.
And something that's plagued Salt Lake City is just these silly mistakes. Last week, unable to get off the field on these short yardage field positions on defense and unable to convert on third down and offense. Not something you want to see if you're a Salt Lake City fan, as the third play will be a third run in a row for Douglas Brown, and this time no flags, and Brown is sat down in the backfield by Zeus Howard, the Week 5 signing.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Zeus Howard keeping contained on that left side of the line. And when Douglas Brown gets loose, it's when he gets those blocks on the first and second level. Zeus, with the bolt of lightning, made sure that didn't happen on that play.
3 straight rushing plays to begin the opening drive for Albuquerque. Let's see if they go to the air and try and find Henry Meyer III or Nate Ritters. Indeed, Blanton back to pass. Pressure coming in the pocket. Pass over the middle is deflected and will fall incomplete, as Bogey Barr was in on the coverage intended for Marcus Brody.
Yeah, really nice deep drop by Bogey Barr, who's an outside linebacker. He was almost playing deep third there in the middle by himself. Obviously, he had some help, but you notice the pressure around Blanton. They did a better job that time of getting in his face, and they forced Blanton to make a difficult throw. Had trouble stepping up in the pocket.
Third down now for the Atoms, as Blanton goes in the gun with Brown to his right. Back to pass, Salt Lake sent 4. Another bomb over the middle to a wide open Nate Ritters, and he's down to the 11-yard line, and that's something that Albuquerque time and time again will burn you.
Yeah, Nate Ritters has a black belt of running routes between the hash marks, and Blanton just throws an absolute dime. Look how gorgeous that ball is, Tyler. And Nate Ritters is going to get right under it, right in stride, and Frankie Kuster can only sit there and curse himself. Salt Lake City has 6 defensive backs on the field there, and Nate Ritter's got past all of them.
Shades of Riley Quintero right there from Nate Ritter's. Offset eye here on first down within the red zone. Another handoff for Brown. This time to the left side. Has blockers in front of him, but some good pursuit there from Kenny Slider. We'll send him down as we'll quickly introduce you to the Adams offensive starters. Trellis Blanton's the quarterback with Douglas Brown at halfback. Henry Meyer III and Nate Ritters lead the wide receiving core, and Paulie Truth is their tight end.
And Tyler, you see out Salt Lake City's finally got their defense reset. They were still stuck in that dime. Now they're in a 4-3.
Handoff near side. Brown able to shrug off one tackler, but Zeus Howard comes in, makes another fantastic tackle, and it's third down again.
And Howard again containing that left side of their defensive front. And Douglas Brown, when he breaks those, he likes to go northeast and northwest. Usually gets the block there on the edge, but Howard made sure that didn't happen.
2 wide receivers near side, an offset eye behind Blanton here on third and short. Quick drop from Blanton. He's got pressure coming. Has to get rid of it in a hurry before he's taken down. Fantastic inside pressure provided by Fred Carson. And on comes Dane Morrow in the field goal unit.
Yeah, and that's a huge stop. In Salt Lake City doing what they had to. Getting pressure on Blanton. I think that was a real strong point for that front four in Albuquerque's first drive there. You did give up the big pass to Ritters, and that was really the only blip when Blanton had time to throw there. But they contained Douglas Brown on that run and then tackle Blanton before he's able to uncork the ball. Good stop by Salt Lake City.
As Morrow's kick is up and through, and Albuquerque take an early 3-0 lead. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. And Morrow will send his kickoff down the field. Turn starts at about the 1-yard line. And Turner tries to shake off one tackle and does at about the 22, and then he's taken down. That being Grant Hickman down at the 26. And so Tommy Utah will come on the field to take over for the Salt Lake City Rustlers in their first offensive possession of the ballgame.
Yeah, and as you mentioned in the open, Tyler, third downs, a big issue for Salt Lake City, especially with this Albuquerque defense. This Albuquerque defense is stacked. They were great to start the season. They added a bunch of talent in the middle of the season, and they are the class of SFLm right now.
Consistency is the name of the game for Salt Lake. It's a floater over the middle into double coverage, and mercifully for Utah, it flutters to the floor as Robert Ivory able to get his mitts over on that one.
Yeah, and Utah taking punishment very early in this game, and I wonder if the offensive line missed an assignment. The way that Albuquerque got into that backfield so fast, Utah hit as he's thrown. He's very lucky that wasn't picked off.
So go under center again in the ace formation. 3-3 nickel look from Albuquerque. It's a quick out route there to the far side, called in by Ace Sharp, and it's good pickup of 7 yards for the wideout, as we'll introduce you to the Rustlers offense as Tommy Utah leads the men out there at his quarterback spot with Brooke Beisel. She's at halfback with Terrell Sutherland at fullback. Ace Sharp and Kelsey Brown make up the lead wide receivers, and Euron Hammer is their tight end. Third down now for the Rustlers on their own 32. Utah back to pass, has time. Nice pass over the middle. That's hauled in by Sharp, back-to-back receptions, and he's across the 50 and down to the 44, and Salt Lake's in business early.
You know, we saw Sharp run the out route, and then he runs a nice little post route here, and the defender, that's number 22, Daniel Valentine, midseason acquisition, cannot get to Sharp in time. And that's the thing about Sharp. There's not a route he doesn't run well. He could go deep. He can make cuts. He's a very versatile wide receiver, and I think he's going to get his name called in the season 17 draft, Tyler.
I hope he does too. There's a lot of players. In fact, all these players want to be on an SFL team come draft time. just providing some good product here in the playoffs would do well for their draft stock as the handoff goes to Brooke Beisel up the middle. She'll pick up 6. And the Adams defensive starters line up as follows. Frank Stackhouse and Tiger Santana lead the men in the trenches with David Ware and Yakov Zolotov at the linebacking spots. Daniel Valentine and Dan Fletcher make up the corners with Ronnie Renfro, Robert Ivory, and Dante Grimm at the safety spots. Another handoff up the middle for Beisel, and she'll get past the line to gain and down to the 32-yard line for another first down for the Rustlers.
Yeah, Salt Lake City having success with this 2 tight end set. It's a second significant run. You don't want to say a 6-yard gain is a big run, but at first down, it is big. And then you get another 6 on second down. That is big as well. And you could just ride that nag all the way to the end zone, Tyler, if you keep getting gains like that.
Especially if they're as consistent as that. Utah in the gun now. Beisel sidecar right and 2 wide receivers. Utah back to pass, steps up in the pocket, looking over the middle, finds Kelsey Brown, and Brown has the Rustlers down inside the red zone.
And Tyler, Kelsey Brown may very well have been my favorite receiver to watch in SFLm this season because she does a lot of this. Huge catches downfield, in traffic, takes some punishment, going to the ground. That is her game, and there's nobody in SFLm that does it better than she does.
Can the Rustlers punch in and take an early lead, something we haven't seen them do against the Adams in franchise history? Offset single back is Beisel. She gets the call again. Handoff up the middle. She'll go down at the 10-yard line as she's gang tackled by a few defenders, and it's 2nd and 7.
And there are some workhorses on this Albuquerque defensive line. Frank Stackhouse and Tiger Santana, who came out in midseason. He has done a great job since he's been here in week 6 of getting into opposing backfields. Salt Lake City, for the most part right now, doing a nice job of getting them blocked and contained up, giving Beisel room to run.
3 wide receivers. Utah in the gun, back to pass, fires to a wide open receiver in the end zone, and they will take the lead. Grant Hickman, reception touchdown for the Salt Lake City Rustlers.
And Hickman, the backup wide receiver, just running an out route here. You see the pass rush is contained, and Hickman, I think Valentine thought he was going to the corner of the end zone, and he just cut a sharp route parallel to the pylon. And there's nothing but painted end zone waiting there, and Utah got him the ball. Great job by Salt Lake City to score right out of the gate.
And on comes Sonny J on to attempt the extra point. The Week 7 signing has been very good from coming in off the streets in Week 7. Kick is up and through, and the Salt Lake City Rustlers have a lead on the road. It's 7-3.
Yeah, and in less than 7 minutes of game time, Salt Lake City has equaled their offensive output for all of last week. That's a great start. It's exactly what you wanted to do. Now it's the defense's turn to come out and see what you can do against Albuquerque offense. You know the Adams are going to answer here.
And we will see how they do as they'll get the return started about the 2-yard line. That's Mackenzie Traeger on the return, and he'll take it up to about the 25 before being tackled by a few defenders. And for the Adams, we know they can make some big plays. We've seen Nate Ritters make time and time again, but Henry Meyer III last week, Josh, had a career day, close to 200 receiving yards, which was 2/5 or more than his entire regular season total.
I would say that's pretty good.
Absolutely. First down for the Adams on the 25 in the I formation. Brown gets the call, has to fight through his own offensive line. It can only manage to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And this is the kind of start you want for this. We talked about how great the Salt Lake City offense started. Salt Lake City defense doing pretty well too, except for that big gain by Nate Ritters. I think Salt Lake City's done a fair job of corralling this offense so far, Tyler.
See if they can keep it up as the Adams will go into the power I. It'll be a handoff for Brown near side, again having to fight through his own blockers, and this time taken down to the backfield. Fred Carson gets in the backfield among others.
Yeah, that's the second big tackle we've seen from Carson so far. And Douglas Brown It's safe to say Tyler's had a slow start to this game in the early goings.
Seen to make maybe one big run, but the rest have been pretty well bottled up. Credit that to the Salt Lake City defense. 4 wide receivers here on 3rd and long. Blanton has plenty of time. Fire to the far side. Has Traeger, and Traeger will turn upfield for a huge gain down to the 43-yard line. A little bit of blown coverage and some excellent reading of the field by the quarterback.
Yeah, Traeger, a very explosive player. He's already got a kickoff return touchdown, just credit. And you see Bogey Barr just playing a little too close to the middle of the field in that zone. And Traeger able to get loose, make a big catch, and then turn upfield, Tyler. That's where they get you.
Now can the Adams maintain this momentum? Able to get a field goal on the opening drive. Can they do that or more here on their second drive? Blanton, 5-step drop. It's going to be a dump off for Brown. Trying to get Brown going any way they can. But John Martin and company say no, sir. No gain on the play.
Yeah, Martin did a nice job of sniffing that out and almost got himself a TFL, but it is a no gain. Martin making a nice play there.
Corners get closer to the line, trying to play a little bit more bump coverage. It's a floater, and it's picked off and going the other way for Salt Lake. He's got blockers down the middle of the field. Only one man to beat, and Brown will take him down. That's Tony Williams getting them all the way back into the Albuquerque red zone.
And it's just outstanding coverage. You watch everybody drop into the backfield, all the linebackers, everybody, and Tony Williams is in man and just looks around and the ball's waiting there at just the right moment, and he's got a convoy running up the left side, and if it wasn't for Douglas Brown, he'd have been in the end zone for sure. What an outstanding play by the Salt Lake City defense.
Blanton tried to get the hot hand from last week. Meyer the third going here early, but it backfires in a huge way. Now it's up to the Albuquerque defense to minimize the loss. Utah back to pass on first down. That one's hauled in for a good pickup of 5 to Ace Sharp, and he's leveled pretty hard there by Dante Grimm.
And that's the bread and butter right there. Salt Lake City just doing what they do. Ace Sharp, another out route. And when you're defending those out routes, that's usually when Sharp turns upfield and gets a big one on you.
All right, set. It looks like 65 DBs on the field against a power running set, and it's going to backfire. It's a touchdown for Salt Lake City. Brooke Beisel finds the end zone.
And Terrell Sutherland finally gets into the game, Tyler. He gets into that fullback spot and makes a contribution right away. Watch him, number 33, coming right down your screen there, gets a huge block and actually takes out number 27, Don Fletcher, as well, who can't get around the pile. And Beisel just sidesteps them all and gets into the end zone. Outstanding run.
Salt Lake City trying to play spoiler against the defending undefeated champs. And right now, they look to go up by 11. Snap spot, and Jay's kick is up and through, and Salt Lake City, the number 4 seed, have taken a 14-3 lead.
And if we're continuing your Groundhog Day analogy here, this is about the portion where Bill Murray is cutting the likeness of Andy McDowell out of ice with the chainsaw. Much different sequence of events than we saw last week.
Kickoff gets us away again, and Mackenzie Traeger gets his return started about the 2, makes one man miss, and then cuts upfield a little bit further, and he's taken down by Lyle Vernon at the 25, and the Adams now have to have short-term memory as they come back out on the field as to try and get back in this game. It's still early on, only 2 minutes left here in the first quarter, but they need to be a little bit more consistent and be a little bit more mistake-free, Josh.
And you see them going to the heavy set right now. They're going to their bread and butter right now, Tyler, and that is Douglas Brown.
4-3 look from the Rustlers. Linebacker shift to the outside, and Brown will take it up the gut. Trying to fight through contact. He's going to be taken down again. Only a pickup of 1, and again, Fred Carson picks up another tackle on Douglas Brown.
Yeah, and when you can get a good game out of Fred Carson like you have so far, that just makes your star players perform that much better. It takes pressure off of John Martin, Bogey Barr, and Zeus Howard, who's had an awesome game, and your secondary is going to perform that much better as well.
Offset eye, handoff Brown again, makes a man miss and shrugging through contact. Still going is Brown, and that's what Brown can do for you down to the 43.
And Brown, you said it, Tyler, made the first man miss and then shrugged off the second runner. We are going to get a replay here. And you can see the right side there. And that is Tony Williams, who had the, that's Kenny Slider, that tried to get in the backfield. Just could not wrap Douglas Brown up. And then Brown makes another man miss. And that's what happens. Brown doesn't do anything magically elusive. He makes one guy miss and then capitalizes on that.
A lot of defenders in the box. 9 men in the box against the heavy set from the Adams. It was a deep pass over the middle and back-to-back drives resulted back-to-back interceptions. The Salt Lake City Rustler defense is rounding up Trellis Blanton.
And it's Isaiah King III, who's just playing deep middle here. He's watching Blanton the whole time. He knows exactly where that ball is going and just snags it and gets a pretty decent return on this interception as well. Salt Lake City right now just inside the head, living rent-free inside the helmet of Trellis Blanton.
And again on back-to-back possessions, Salt Lake City will start in plus territory from the Albuquerque 48-yard line. Utah, quick drop from him. He flutters it over the middle. That one's hauled in by Hammer, and Hammer gets down to the 37, another first down, and this is the game that Salt Lake City loves to play. Nice, consistent football. They don't like to throw the football deep down the field a whole lot, but if they can hit these little dink and dunk plays, that's their bread and butter.
And Hammer's a guy you got to get involved. He did not have a catch last week. Has one so far tonight.
And Faisal up the middle, blockers in front of her. She's able to pick up 4 before she's met by Daniel Valentine at the 33, and she's averaging about 5 yards a carry.
And Beisel doing very well, getting good blocks up front. The holes are there, and Beisel doing a nice job getting the ball to the second level. 4 yards, a first down. That's a successful run.
A lot of people in the chat are saying this is not the start we all expected. The Salt Lake City Rustlers on top of the Albuquerque Adams 14-3. You're watching the SFL Minor League Playoffs on YouTube. Welcome back to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm Tyler Falk alongside Josh Zirkle, and the Rustlers trying to play spoiler and put a dent into the perfect season that the Albuquerque Adams have cultivated. Faisal tries to spin away from Robert Ivory, but Ivory able to wrap her up and bring her down. Third down.
And Albuquerque's defensive backs do a nice job of playing the run. Dante Grimm especially, but Robert Ivory's another guy that can get in there and make tackles at the line of scrimmage.
Hammer's going to be flexed off to the right. It's going to be a strong eye set from the Rustlers and a dump off on third down for Beisel, and that dump off will pick up the first down. And that play last week wasn't as effective, but Salt Lake City able to convert on third down this week.
And that's a gorgeous throw by Utah, putting it right on the money. And Tyler, when those screens, those flare passes work the best is when you hit the running back in stride and they're able to turn upfield. And that's exactly what Beisel was able to do. First down.
Tommy Utah's QBR at 149. That's outstanding against this tough Albuquerque Adams defense. Split backfield, it'll be a play action, and he's in under pressure and has absolutely nowhere to go. Tiger Santana prowls into the backfield.
Now, I was just wondering where we were going to see Tiger Santana make an impact in this game, and he just did. Tommy Utah had nowhere to go, and Tiger Santana makes most of his sacks just like that, running right into the backfield like a waiter sputtering into the kitchen at a French restaurant.
Utah this time has a deep drop, passes over the middle, tipped up in the air, and falls incomplete. David Ware able to get his hands on it and knock that one aside.
And Ware does a nice job in the middle. He's a very versatile player, can play the run and the pass as well. Maybe needs to work on the hand attributes a little bit. That hand's right there. Maybe that should have been an INT for old David.
Well, if he keeps reading the offense like that, he'll come away with picks in no time. Great play there from the young defender, and it's third and maybe a country mile, the longest third down of the ball game for the Rustlers. 3 wideouts in a split backfield behind Tommy Utah. Quick drop from Utah. It's a pass over the middle. One-handed catch by A. Sharp, but he's just shy of the sticks. 4th down, but this will more than likely end up in a field goal for the Rustlers. A very positive drive for them.
And this is actually Kelsey Brown, Tyler, who goes up, elevates, makes a one-handed catch, takes impact as she catches the ball, and it is short, but now look at this. You've turned a 50-yard field goal into a 34-yard field goal for Sonny J, increasing his probability of making this.
Snap spot kick is up, and it is good from Sonny J, and Salt Lake City extend the lead to 14. It's 17-3, and the Rustlers look in control of this one.
And Jay clearly got all of that one. It's right down the middle. But when you take some of the guesswork out of it, you line up for a 34-yard field goal with a little more confidence than you would with a 50-yard field goal. And Sonny J taking advantage of that. And look at this, Tyler. Salt Lake City, after getting blown out last week, sitting on a 14-point lead with just over 9 to play here in the first half.
So how can Albuquerque respond as Traeger gets his return started, bounces it out to the near side, trying to shake off a couple of tacklers, won't be able to, as Matt Condor and Kenny Slider able to bring him down. And for Trellis Blanton, 2 interceptions on back-to-back drives, have to take care of that football. They've done fantastic job the entire season, minimizing their mistakes as best they can, but right now they have to get down the field and they have to do it in a hurry.
And remember, Blanton threw 3 interceptions last week. The difference between the last week and now is Salt Lake City's actually capitalizing.
Another deep ball over the middle, and it's just out of the outstretched arms of Nate Ritters, and it falls incomplete.
10 points off of turnovers. Last week compared to 7 just last week, and we've got, as you mentioned, a plenty of football here left to play. And Trellis Blanton throwing that deep down the middle on first down kind of tells me, Tyler, that they are not taking the game out of his hands anytime soon.
A little bit of mismatch. We see 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen with only 1 defensive back. Blanton back to pass. Will fire in that direction. Into coverage. It's tipped up in the air and falls incomplete. Great reading of the play there from Tony Williams. He already has an interception today, and they have contained Blanton so far here in this football game.
Yeah, when you get a tip like that deep down the field, that makes a tremendous impact. And Tony Williams playing some surprisingly high-quality, deep coverage with all due respect. But that is just a huge play in a huge spot.
Dime look from the Rustlers here on 3rd down. Blanton, another deep ball over the middle into triple coverage, and it's incomplete again. Gerard Brody in on the coverage, and it's a quick 3-and-out for the Adams.
A quick 3-and-out, and not a single touch of the football from Douglas Brown. He was open on a couple of those flare routes. Blanton instead opting to go down the field. And sometimes when you're a great team, Tyler, and you mash everybody in the regular season, as Albuquerque does, when you do find yourself trailing in a game, you're not exactly sure what to do. And I wonder if Albuquerque finds themselves in that situation right now.
As Ralph Bennington punts this one away, Hickman on the return gets leveled as he starts his return by Robert Ivory. And Salt Lake will start their next drive on their own 36. The SFL offseason is winding down, but there's plenty of events on tap to get hyped for. Free agency starts tomorrow, and the 3rd SFLm championship can be seen live this Sunday, June 20th, on the SFL's YouTube channel. The season 17 schedule will be released Tuesday, June 22nd, and the rookie draft will begin Saturday, June 26th. Visit www.simulationfl.net to join our Discord community, where you can create and start your path to football stardom.
Number 66, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And Tyler, now a rare penalty by Stackhouse, Frank Stackhouse, the defensive end. It's way too soon to say this, but Albuquerque showing signs of falling apart at the seams here.
Well, it looks like they're a little bit nervous. I don't think they've been in a situation quite like this in the season, able to control the game their way and explode with their offense. And now Salt Lake City might have a few answers for them. And now they've just got to, calm down and regroup. And, a nice little stop like that from Dante Grimm and company just sets them up pretty well. Gain of 9 there from Brooke Beisel.
And Beisel really the figurehead of the Salt Lake City offense right now. And they've thrown the ball quite a bit. And Tommy Utah has done a nice job of putting it in the air. But the sets that they're running out of, the 2 tight end sets, and now this heavy set here, these are all geared for big Brooke Beisel runs.
And she'll get the call again. Gets through one defender and then is taken down to the Albuquerque 46. As Beisel, we'll probably see a little bit more of her as the game goes on if Salt Lake City can keep up this consistency.
Yeah, it helps to shorten the game, especially when you're playing a team as strong as Albuquerque. And Beisel getting nice blocks there from number 46, Tori Perry, the backup tight end. And Beisel just running hard. Love to see that.
Good consistency and some good O-line play, providing a major factor of why Salt Lake City are in control here in the first half. Utah back to pass, finds his target up there on the far side. That's Kelsey Brown, another good pickup for the Rustlers, a gain of 7.
We talked about Salt Lake City and the problems they had in third down last week. Their offense is doing an outstanding job on first down tonight. They're getting 6-7 yards on first down in a lot of cases, and that really opens up the playbook as you get into second down and third down.
Utah is going to dump it out. This time it's Sutherland on the reception, but the fullback gets laid out by Yakov Zolotov.
And Zolotov, probably the best player that I've seen so far in this season in terms of running from one sideline to the other. Lines up at outside linebacker, but just has tremendous range. Talking about going from between the numbers, but even from sideline to sideline as well.
Just about the same formation on the field here for the Rustlers on third down. It'll be a pass near side to an open Kelsey Brown, and it's another first down on third down for the Rustlers.
And Brown's 4th catch of the evening, and a pretty good one. It's not quite evening in the West Coast over there. But so far, Kelsey Brown making an impact on this game.
3 wide outs, single back set for the Rustlers. Can Adams hold them here as Beisel gets the dump off pass to the far side. Another good pickup on first down. Josh, 8 yards this time.
Yeah, and finding new ways to get Beisel the ball, this time on the flare route. And again, Utah putting this ball right on the money. Not every quarterback can do this. Look at this, right in stride, in front of Beisel, where she can continue to keep running and then turn up field. And that is just great quarterback to running back chemistry. You love to see it, and that's the kind of yardage you can rip off when you run that play that well.
3 wide again, another single back set for the Rustlers. Handoff, Beisel up the middle, and she'll get inside the 20-yard line. Marker right there at the 20, and it's another first down for Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City running the 4-minute drill to absolute perfection here in the second half as we have just over 4 minutes left. Tommy Utah doing a nice job of managing this game. Beisel doing a nice job of running.
Passing play now for Salt Lake City as Beisel gets the reception and takes it another 7 yards. 7 to 8 yards on back-to-back-to-back first down plays will get you down the field in a hurry.
And she could have had a little bit more if she'd waited for Tori Perry, the backup tight end, to go up there and make that block for her. She's so excited. She outran her block. Probably left a few yards on the table.
Our eye set from the Albuquerque 13. Only 6 men in the box. Handoff, Beisel, far side. Can't escape the tackler there. This time it's Julian Rasmus comes up with a tackle. Only a pickup of 1 for Beisel. And it's 3rd and 2 for the Rustlers.
And this is where great defenses shine, when you need to make a big play. And this is where you are, 3rd and 2. Salt Lake City up 14, looking to add to that. Albuquerque needs to make a stop.
And it's an unforced error there from the Adams defender there on the line. It'll be a free first down as one of their men jumped offside.
Neutral zone infraction, number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty.
And that's really a surprise there to see from Albuquerque. But it tells you, Tyler, exactly how great a job Salt Lake City has done after getting drubbed 30-7 last week, knowing that they're going to have to go back into Albuquerque. They're going to have to fight for their postseason lives. They've come in here and they've taken the fight to the home team. And the home team really not quite sure what to do with themselves at this point.
The home undefeated defending champion team there, Josh. As Utah back to pass, looks for an open receiver, and it's nearly picked off over the middle. What a stop that could have been. Rasmus with the deflection.
And Rasmus was off to the races. I think he was celebrating his touchdown before he caught it. I'm not sure anybody would have had the inertia to catch him the way that he was going, but that is a tremendous knockdown. Pass deflected. And now Albuquerque's got to do that 2 more times.
Almost collective groan coming from Chad as multiple people from the Adams were looking and hoping that would have been picked off as Utah's back to pass again. Pressure coming from the middle into triple coverage and knocked aside. Dante Grimm, among others, gets in on the deflection. Among them, also David Ware.
And that was Grant Hickman. Remember, they ran that route, Tyler, on the other end of the field to get the touchdown in the first quarter. And they were not going to let that route cash in a second time. 3 Albuquerque defenders there on the play to stop Grant Hickman.
Big 3rd down coming up for the Adams defense. Can they hold Salt Lake City to a field goal? Utah back to pass. Pressure coming from the near side. Pass over the middle. It's incomplete, but there's a flag on the play. Let's get the call.
Flag in the end zone. That might be defensive pass interference.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's unfortunate. And it's a free first down inside the red zone for Salt Lake City.
Pass interference in the end zone in a lot of leagues puts the ball 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, excuse me. I'm not familiar enough with the SFL rulebook to say if that's the case here, but that is a tremendous gift for the Rustlers.
And so a brand new set of downs from the 1-yard line. Utah in the gun. Brooke Beisel, sidecar left and 2 wideouts. Utah's back to pass, tries to find someone over the middle, tried to get A Sharp, but A Sharp's just out of bounds, and it's 2nd down.
And Sharp just a couple inches too long there. Had his toes on the end line. Utah was there, the play was open. Just couldn't quite execute. And Tyler, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Beisel here in the last several plays. Utah's thrown quite a bit. When do they go back to number 21?
They'll probably go back to her right now as they're in the single back set. It's a quick drop pass. Hammer! Touchdown! Salt Lake City are flying away with it.
Ron Hammer, who did not have a catch last week, has a touchdown. And by my markings, 3 catches already in this first half. And Albuquerque almost looks like they forgot about him. There's nobody there. And it's just a simple little slant route. And Hammer cashes that in. That is the 3rd touchdown tonight in the first half for Salt Lake City after getting just 1 a week ago against this same defense.
Salt Lake City are putting Albuquerque in an even bigger hole. And here comes Sonny J to put them up by 21. Snap spot as pressure was coming, but he's able to get it off and through as the Salt Lake City Rustlers are 24-3 against the defending champion Albuquerque Adams.
And we still have just under 3 minutes to play here in the half. We still have Douglas Brown on the field for Albuquerque. We still have an outstanding offensive unit, including Trellis Blanton, Nate Ritters, Henry Meyer III. If there was ever a time to be skittish about a 21-point lead, it's right now.
Traeger gets his return to about the 23 before he gets stopped. The SFL broadcast team is looking to add new talent to our ranks of broadcasters. Applications are being accepted now to try out for either play-by-play or analyst broadcasting positions. No prior experience is required, just a love for the game and a desire to succeed. The application can be found on our website at simulationfl.net/broadcasting. 2:55 left in the second quarter, and the Adams need to put some points on the board. They go to Douglas Brown on the first play, and Brown has a hold on the far side, shrugs off more tackles, and he's cross midfield. A huge gain to get momentum back on their side.
And Douglas Brown in one play takes his team from inside the 20 to midfield, gets that average all the way back up to 6.3 yards a carry. And that is the power of Douglas Brown. He could change your hopes and dreams in the blink of an eye. And we are seeing that in real time here tonight.
So now a big play on first down. Can they capitalize? Maybe just across midfield for the second play of the drive. Nickel look from Salt Lake, 3 wide for the Adams. And an I formation behind. Brown gets the call again on this first down. Shrugs off another tackle. It'll pick up 6 yards to the 44 of Salt Lake.
And that was John Martin who got the free carpet ride there from Douglas Brown. And when you miss that first tackle on him, that is when the damage amortizes. It is just absolutely unfortunate if you can't get him down when you have the chance.
Remember last drive, maybe a little bit skittish with the ball. 3 straight passes led to a 3 and out. This time it's 3 straight runs, and they're quickly down to the Salt Lake 41. 3rd and 1 will be coming up right after the 2-minute warning. Here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the Adams, the defending champions, are down by 21 points as we're about to close out the first half. Can they make a comeback? Tyler Falk alongside Josh Zirkle here for the first semifinal game of the 3rd SFLm season as the Adams try to put some points on the board to catch back up to the Rustlers. Goal line set. Brown again on the call. He fights for the sticks, and he's taken down just shy.
That's an unbelievable spot. I was certain that he had that. In fact, he fell over the line to gain, and the ball was completely over. And now what do you do here? Do you go for it on 4th and inches? I would.
Again, this is presentation generated, but look how close that ball is to crossing the line to gain. They'll go for it on 4th down. They have to. Brown with the call. He fights off to the outside and will pick up the first down to the 32.
Absolutely enormous run. Going for it on 4th and inches. We've seen a lot of times where coaches, play callers get conservative. Don't go for it on 4th and short there, especially even on the plus side of the field. Douglas Brown getting it done. If you have Douglas Brown, you give him the ball in that spot, and that's what he does.
Give it to him again, up the middle. This entire drive has been Douglas Brown. Another carry for him. He'll pick up 3 before being brought down, and the Adams will go into the hurry-up.
Time's a factor here, Tyler. Less than a minute to play.
48 seconds and counting. Left to go. Blanton back to pass. We'll find Brown this time on a little swing pass to the outside. He'll be taken down to the 25, and the Adams will use one of their timeouts.
And as you said, Douglas Brown, the exclusive benefactor of the football on this drive. And this is why we mentioned the 3 and out previous to this drive where Blanton threw it down the field 3 times. We were surprised we didn't see more of this. And after what we're seeing now, I'll be very surprised if we don't see a lot of this in the second half, even if they're trailing by 3 touchdowns or 2.
Lands back to pass, tries to find someone over the middle. That's into quadruple coverage. And Kenny Slider and Isaiah King III knock it aside. And it's 4th down. And on comes Dane Morrow to maybe edge a little bit closer to the lead with a field goal.
And that's the issue with the time. That takes the play calling out of your hands to some extent. You got to think about the time. If Douglas Brown's not able to convert, you got to burn a timeout. But you have the 2 timeouts. And I think some of the folks in chat are going to be shaking their heads at maybe a missed opportunity here for 7 points.
42-yarder from the right hash. Snap spot kick is up, and it is through and good for 3 as the Adams inch a little bit closer. It's 24-6.
And that kick, picture perfect. It's exactly what you expect from Dane Morrow. In Albuquerque, getting points to make this an 18-point game here at the end of the first half. The team probably very eager to regroup and reassess what exactly has happened here on the field, as are the rest of us.
And Grant Hickman will wait about the 1-yard line to start his return. We'll try and take it to the far side, but he's taken down at the 23. So 29 seconds to go, and Salt Lake City ahead by 18. I'm probably just looking to close out this half, and probably the game, just by controlling the clock and controlling possession. We'll see what they come out here on first down with under half a minute to go in the first half.
Sutherland in the game. That points to a run.
Gun set here for Salt Lake. It'll be a pass. It'll be a floater to the near side. Intercepted by Albuquerque. Going the other way. Daniel Valentine to the house. And the Adams have taken back momentum. A huge play on defense for the Adams.
That is unbelievable. You have a chance to get in the locker room, get out of here with a 3-score lead. And what do? You find Daniel Valentine playing deep third. Nice coverage there. Leaps up to grab that ball. And now Valentine's got a convoy. And he's just going to saunter right into the end zone there. Albuquerque, as if there would ever be any doubt, is back in business.
What a play from the Week 4 signing, Daniel Valentine. And just like that, it's close to 10 points in under 10 seconds.
You can't keep a championship team down, Tyler. It's as simple as that. This team is good. They're loaded. And you got to play them all 44 minutes, or that's what happens.
Absolutely. 13-24. This one's getting interesting.
I would like to see Salt Lake City run the clock out now.
We'll see if they have a change of heart as they tried to be a little bit greedy and try to put some more points up on the board before halftime. We'll see if they take your advice, Josh, as Hickman gets another return started from the 5-yard line. Trying to edge it out to the far side. He gets away from a couple before being brought down at the 37. Good return, but now can Salt Lake come back out and maybe just take control of that football a little bit better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Beisel, either out of that heavy set or that 2 tight end set they've been using so much, is the way to go here. Just run it once, get into the locker room. And they do come out in 2 tight end set.
Maestro 26 says, hand it to Beisel. And indeed they will up the middle, but instead of maybe just going back to the locker room, they're going to hurry up back to the line. 5 seconds to go. They'll hand it off again. Beisel again up the middle, and they're going to call a timeout with 2 seconds to go. I'm a little confused, Josh.
Well, Salt Lake City has good field position here. And if you were going to take a Hail Mary, take a shot at throwing it down the field, and you could see Tommy Utah's got his own opinions about what's happening with the offense right now, as is his want. But you have nice position here, and Utah's got the arm. You could probably get this thing to the end zone, Tyler. I think that's what they're setting up.
Bump coverage from the corners on the near side, and indeed it will be one chuck down the field. A hope and a prayer coming our way. Utah loads, fires, penalty on the play, near side, deflected, picked up again for Albuquerque.
Wow, well, let's see what the penalty is. That might just negate everything we just saw.
They're going to say Salt Lake had an eligible receiver down the field. Adams will accept the penalty. And that should take us to the end of the first half with Salt Lake City right at the 2-minute warning, leading 24-3. Albuquerque put up 10 points in 15 seconds to make it a 24-13 ball game as we enter halftime. Josh, what an exciting conclusion to that first half.
Absolutely tremendous. And Salt Lake City, kudos to them for coming back into Albuquerque and taking the fight to the undefeated champs, fighting for their playoff lives. Just a tremendous effort. In Albuquerque, obviously, a little bit overwhelmed, especially Trellis Blanton, who had those 2 interceptions earlier. And I'm just very impressed with Salt Lake City right now. Obviously, Brooke Beisel, the centerpiece of the offense at the moment. That is working very well. Just one bad play there toward the end of the first half. With Salt Lake City doing enough to get it done, Tyler. Can they come out with the same intensity in the second half?
Absolutely. And like you said, Salt Lake City have been playing pretty well up into the last 2 minutes of the ball game. The defense has really came out and played really well. 2 picks, as we see one there by Tony Williams. And the offense played well, very consistent, not trying to do too much, maybe a little bit too much there within the 2 minutes. But I've really liked how Salt Lake City has really taken the game to Albuquerque.
And I think Albuquerque, I would not suggest at all that they played a bad game. I think that Tommy Utah has done a nice job of doing what his team does well. A Sharp running the out routes, Kelsey Brown running the out routes. Kelsey Brown, of course, had that amazing catch down the field that made that field goal a little more makeable there for Sonny J. And everybody's chipped in. Fred Carson at defensive tackle. They're getting performances from everybody. You're on Hammer, touchdown in the end zone. Hammer didn't even have a single catch last week, but they need that to continue if they want to knock off the defending champs here. I think they have it in them, but this is why we play the games. We're going to wait and see.
And do the Adams need to get Douglas Brown more involved? He had a pretty good end to the first half with a nice little run there and a nice couple other plays, including a tackle which halted a pick 6 opportunity. But does the running game from the closer need to be the deciding factor in this one?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we did not see enough of Douglas Brown, and perhaps for this reason, perhaps to have him fresh for the second half, and maybe that was the plan all along. They didn't plan to be down 3 scores, but now being 24-13, it's barely a 2-score game. And Douglas Brown and his viability and his fatigue algorithm, so to speak, certainly going to be more factors to watch as we get into the second half here.
2 more quarters to play, 22 minutes to go here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as Hickman gets his return started. Again, 3rd return in what seems to be, just a few moments have been, the difference between his returns, as this time Hickman's able to return it to the 29-yard line. And on comes the Salt Lake City Rustlers offense for their first possession of the second half.
It has been a great sequence for people that like kickoffs. And now Tommy Utah, after throwing 2 picks at the end of the first half, after playing flawlessly up to that point, I would argue, he's got to do something here.
He's going to immediately pass to Sorrell Sutherland over the middle. That's a good pickup of 9. And one thing I think everyone's been very impressed with is their production on first downs. 7 to 9 yards, on average on first down for the Rustlers.
And that just makes the rest of the game so much easier for your offense, and it makes it more difficult for the defense. The defense really has trouble deciding on personnel, scheme, and everything else.
Coverage steps off a little bit from the Adams as Utah is able to find Kelsey Brown on the near side and will pick up the first down.
And Kelsey Brown, who I believe 4 catches in the first half, that would be her 5th. And this is someone who can go for sometimes 11 catches in a game or more. She had 11 last week. She's going to be doing a lot more of that. And we're back in the double tight end set, Tyler.
Double tight end set, and Beisel sidecar left of Tommy Utah. High snap corralled by Utah. A little dump off near side for Hammer. And that's his 3rd reception in the ball game. Like we mentioned a couple times now, not picking up too many receptions last week. In fact, none. And this week, been very productive.
And when you could camp out underneath in those hook zones from your inside linebackers, and you're seeing those inside linebackers, they're dropping back 7-8 yards. And that is the money zone for your on Hammer. You just do a little slant, maybe even just sit 4 yards out, And that's what he did there. Got great yardage on first down.
Offset eye to the right, hammer, flex to the left. Utah's going to take a deep drop and will fire near side. Finds Brown, and Brown will pick up back-to-back receptions that result in first downs.
And Frank Stackhouse for Albuquerque nearly got home. Tommy Utah dropped just a little too deep, and Stackhouse had the angle on him. But nice job by Salt Lake City's offensive line diverting him at the last possible minute.
The receptions in the second half at a total of about 58 yards for Kelsey Brown in total for the game. Utah takes a quick drop this time looking for A Sharp on the far side, and will find Sharp for a pickup of 5 before he's knocked out of bounds by a couple of Adams, Yakov Zolotov, among others.
You know, we call this nickel and diming, Tyler, and it sounds like a pejorative, but nickels and dimes add up to dollars. And that's the simple truth of it all. And A Sharp and Kelsey Brown working the sidelines here, making Albuquerque defend the whole field, doing a nice job moving down the field on this first drive.
Absolutely. We'll see what they do here in a single back set. 4-3 look from the Adams. Utah, nice little 3-step drop. Let's float it over the middle. Deflected by the backup tight end, and it somehow finds it into the breadbasket of A Sharp, and that's another first down for Salt Lake City.
Well, this is something you don't see a lot of teams try. Have your backup tight end catch it and then have it bounce into the hands of your wide receiver. Hey, if it works, knock yourself out. Nice catch by Perry and nice hanging on by Sharp.
This time they'll hand it off for Weissel up the middle. She's unable to go anywhere further than the line of scrimmage. In fact, being knocked backward by Robert Ivory.
And Ivory coming up with the TFL. We mentioned how he likes to play the run. And we saw a couple of defensive backs up there playing the run. And Weissel, who has benefited from the scheming of this Salt Lake City offense, has to contend with a couple of defenders making their way toward the line of scrimmage.
33 nickel look from the Adams here on 2nd and 11. Utah back to pass, tries to look near side. That one's deflected and nearly into the waiting arms of Sharp again, but this time maybe a little bit unawares that time around, and it's third down.
I do like the just-in-case cover by A Sharp. He felt the ball on his knee, saw it laying at the ground, and thought, you know what, why not? Let's just make sure that this is not a live ball, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. It was just kind of adorable the way he just curled up at the end of the play.
Gotta play until the whistle blows every single play. 3rd and 11 for the Rustlers. Can they convert on another third down? Utah has time, steps up in the pocket, fires it over the middle, and it's deflected and incomplete. It's a good opening stand for the Adams defense, and that's going to force a possible long field goal attempt by Sonny J.
Yeah, this will be 47 yards for Sonny J, and it looks like Jay is out on the field there. And that is a nice job by Albuquerque, but a curious decision by Salt Lake City to bring Sutherland back out. On 3rd and 11, the double tight end set I thought would have given you more options in terms of receivers down the field. And we saw a lot of pressure coming out of Tommy Utah there. Double tight end set would have helped that as well.
46-yard attempt from the right hash from Sonny J. Snap spot, kick is away. And it has the distance and it has the accuracy. It's up and good. And Salt Lake City will take a 27-13 lead.
And it's always nice to get points on the board on that opening drive. And Sonny J, just puts a beautiful ball through the uprights there. A nice job by Albuquerque by tightening up there on the plus side of the field. And we have not seen the best out of either of these two teams just yet.
Kicks away from Sonny J as Traeger gets the return started again, trying to look near side, but good coverage from the kickoff team as they're able to knock him down to the 23. And now here come the Adams. Had an explosive end to that first half, picking up 10 points in about 15 seconds. Now can they maintain the momentum that their defense have given them by holding Salt Lake City to a field goal and just continuing to get back into this game?
And keep in mind, Tyler, Albuquerque's offense has not found the end zone yet tonight.
And Douglas Brown up the middle is trucked at the 27-yard line.
And that's nice defense. Salt Lake City picking up right where they left off on the defensive side. Douglas Brown has not had a Douglas Brown type of day, at least so far. The Rustlers doing a fair job of keeping him corralled, especially on the edges.
Coverage backs off as the Adams go into the eye. Another handoff for Brown up the middle, able to pick up a couple more yards before he's brought down at the 29-yard line.
And I know it's 3rd and 3, and this is not necessarily a running down, but I would love to see them give it to Douglas Brown here and just send the message that this is going to be your guy who you ride or die with in the second half.
7-8 men in the box here for Salt Lake as they hand off for Brown on the far side. Brown spins away from one and picks up the first down.
And that's what he usually does. He finds that edge. And when you run him out of that heavy set like that, you just give him an entourage of blockers. You see right there, number 23, Luke Waverly. He gets a lot of good blocks for Brown. And he does a nice job of moving the chains there for Albuquerque at a time when they really need it.
Good start to the drive here for the Adams. Can they keep up the momentum? A single back set for Albuquerque as the linebackers shift to the outside, maybe expecting a pass to the outside as they will pass to the Adams. To Brown as Brown tries to spin away this time, trying to put another man in the spin cycle, but Tony Williams says no dice this time.
Now, Tony Williams will do his own laundry. Thank you very much. And now Douglas Brown will have to wash that neon green jersey on hot, get the grass stains out of what that Tony Williams just put in there.
Offset eye behind Blanton. 3 wideouts. He's back to pass. Pressure coming from the outside. Has to get rid of it and does, trying to find Marcus Brody. But tremendous coverage provided by John Martin results in a 3rd down upcoming for the Adams.
And Salt Lake City, again, doing a nice job on the pass rush. And Martin just camping out right in the office. Sees Marcus Brody cutting over. Just gets that hand up. Doesn't get much easier than that.
So 3rd and 8 from their own 40-yard line. Have to get to their own 48 to convert. Blanton comes out of the gun with Douglas Brown to his right. 4 wideouts out on the field on this 3rd down play. Blanton back to pass, fires deep down the middle, has Nate Ritter's wide open, and he gives a foot race to the 5, shrugs it off, and falls into the end zone. The Adams are charging back into this one. Nate Ritter's a huge touchdown.
And that is almost exactly the same play that we saw in their first drive of the game. Nate Ritter's getting behind the entire defense, only this time, Gerard Brody can't make the tackle. Ritter slips away and finds himself into the end zone. And this is what Ritters will do for you. Busted the game wide open. And now Albuquerque inching ever closer to finally getting back on top of this game. They have not led since they kicked a field goal 3-0 to start this game.
So on comes Dane Morrow now to bring them within a touchdown. Snap spot, and the kick is up and through, and the Adams are now 1 touchdown away from retying up this football game.
A 1-score game. Albuquerque's inching their way back into this. They still have a lot of time left, a quarter and a half to be exact. Kicking the ball away. And Tommy Utah, the pressure is on now. Salt Lake City's done a nice job, but they've been in low leverage situations. When you're playing with a big lead, it's not as important. And you don't feel the pressure as much as you would when you're playing in a close game, in a 1-score game. And that's where Salt Lake City finds themselves right now.
Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. Visit sector6apparel.com or our website at simulationfl.net for replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more that help each team stand out from their opponents. Get the gear the fans wear with Sector 6 and the SFL. Salt Lake City will start their drive from their own 23-yard line as Utah goes back to pass. Will float it near side. That one's hauled in, and it's a good pickup of 9 yards by Mike Kress.
Mike Kress, you can scratch Mike Kress off your Salt Lake City Rustler offense bingo card now. Kress's first catch of the game. And a great start for Tommy Utah, finding a wide open receiver there, just camped out in the left flat. Strong start for the drive.
Coverage again is about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage as Utah passes over the middle to Yaron Hammer, and he's been pretty safe hands. 4 targets, 4 receptions for the big tight end.
And he's looked really good. And those short yardage catches have been in high leverage situations. First downs, he did have the touchdown in the first half. And Yaron Hammer has been very strong. And as you mentioned, a sure performer for Tommy Utah.
And one thing that Salt Lake City has prided themselves ever since they came into the league is consistency. Utah back to pass, nearly had Hammer over the middle again, but it's going to fall in complete. Coverage there was tremendous, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, and that threw everybody for a loop there. Yaron Hammer running the 9 route and had the matchup that they wanted. I think Utah saw that he was on a backup DB and thought, let's take a shot at it here. Hammer couldn't quite bring that in. That might have been out of his catch radius.
Offset single back. Here on second down, Utah finds Hammer again. This time he's able to haul in another little stop route and will pick up 6 yards. And it's 3rd and 4 upcoming now for Salt Lake.
Yeah, this is a very manageable 3rd and 4. The out routes are in play. Yaron Hammer looks like he's on the sideline for this play. Terrell Sutherland will check back in. But there's a lot of things Salt Lake City could do here.
3rd down has been a strength for Salt Lake City today. We'll see if it continues. Pass, A. Sharp, caught. 1st down, Rustlers.
A. Sharp running that slant, catches a little bit of contact from Don Fletcher. Midseason signing, and Sharp and Kelsey Brown and Yaron Hammer. It's so much that it's difficult for any team to cover all 3 of them effectively for an entire game.
Utah goes back in the gun this time as Beisel's off to his right. Utah will throw to Beisel there in the flat as Beisel turns upfield and gets spun around there by Daniel Valentine after maybe picking up 4.
Valentine with a really nice hit on Beisel. When you're making tackles on the sideline like that, you know that if you miss, that runner is going to be gone for a big gain. But Valentine, with reckless abandon, flew and just put that shoulder into Beisel and did the job.
Now from the Albuquerque 38, it'll be a delayed handoff for Beisel up the middle. It's going to result in maybe a pickup of 3, maybe caught the defense a little off guard. It's a good little run there. And again, Robert Ivory on the stop. 3rd down again upcoming.
And this is an interesting spot on the field, Todd. Right at the 35. This would be a 52-yard field goal. Do you run it here and maybe even if you don't get the 1st down, add a couple yards to the field goal attempt? Or do you take a shot?
Utah's going to take a shot. It's going to be passed over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of A. Sharp. And the defense holds, and we'll have to see. Do they trust their rookie kicker, Sonny J, to attempt a 52-yarder? We'll see what happens.
And Dante Grimm coming down and made sure there was no chance of A. Sharp catching that ball. And just look at the closing speed there, coming from his perch at the safety position and gets right there at the same time as the ball. And he's just a total player. Dante Grimm, guy loves contact, and I love to watch guys that love contact.
And instead, they will punt it away, which means Albuquerque should get the ball in hopefully some good field position depending on where this punt lands, as Gussie's punt takes a Albuquerque bounce down to the 1, and that's where it'll be down. Great play by the hands team of Salt Lake to pin Albuquerque deep in their own territory.
And look at Kenny Slider making a contribution here on special teams. Sees the ball, goes into the end zone, gets out of the end zone, establishes his feet back in the field of play, and then picks it up. And now Albuquerque, from the shadow of their own goalpost, we like to say, is going to try and even the score here on this drive.
Salt Lake City stacked the box, 8 men in the box to counter the power eye set from the Adams. Can't go anywhere back where they have to go forward as Brown gets the call up the middle, maybe picking up a yard, and just a little bit more breathing space there for their offense.
And that is a wild stat line from Douglas Brown, Tyler. It doesn't feel like he's had 93 yards this game. It does not feel like he has been as explosive as we're used to seeing him. But let's be honest, if there's anybody you'd want in this situation, it would be Douglas Brown.
Goal line set. Salt Lake's defense shifts to the strong side. Brown spins away from another streaking defender, and he's able to pick up yet another yard before being brought down. So 3rd down from their own 3-yard line. It's going to be a very, very dangerous play call if they try and pass it, I'd think.
Yeah, I think you got to run it here and just make sure your punter's not standing on top of the goalpost if he punts.
Will be a run for Brown, and Brown gets stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Bogey Barr, and it's going to be a punt for the Adams, and their punter's going to have almost no time to get it off with how Salt Lake City have been pressuring their special teams units today.
Yeah, John Martin and Bogey Barr both had tackles on that drive. Both are just playing outstanding games today. And a big reason why Albuquerque, with the offense that they have, just having trouble getting out.
Great determination there from Grant Hickman to fight through contact and fall forward to the 31, already putting his team in field goal range. So excellent field position to start the drive here for Salt Lake on the own 31. That's the 3rd drive that they have started inside Albuquerque territory.
Yeah, and they are better off now than where they were when they punted the football. And that's credit to special teams, and that's a credit to defense.
First down play will be a pass over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Ace Sharp. Again, another drop for him, and that's something we don't often see from the young wide receiver.
Yeah, and it's the 2nd time that he was wrestled to the ground as the ball arrived. The first time by Dante Grimm, and then that time by Julian Rasmus, who does a nice job in pass coverage. And Utah has got to diversify, but also keep in mind, you got points on the board here, even if the ball doesn't move forward at all.
Strong eye set. Utah back to pass again, trying to find his man on the near side. That one's caught, hauled in by Terrell Sutherland. He's able to maybe pick up a yard before being brought down by multiple Adams. And 3rd and 9 upcoming.
And that's sort of the fullback's curse there, Tyler. Sutherland maybe might get 1 or 2 touches a game, but in that spot, it's a hastily thrown ball. It's not in front of him. He's got to make a move to avoid the defender. And he might have been able to do a little bit more than that if he'd gotten a better ball, and that was just unfortunate.
Another passing play. This time, Utah takes a deep step drop. Fires to Sharp this time, near side, hauled in, but ruled a yard shy of the line to gain. So it's 4th and 1 from the Albuquerque 22, and it looks like they'll send out Sonny J in the field goal unit to kick this one away, but hold everything. Albuquerque is going to go ahead and challenge this one. Josh?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good challenge. I mean, if you're not sure it's a first down, how can you be sure it's a catch at this point? And these comeback routes do inspire a lot of challenge flags, and we're going to get probably a better look at it here. Great ball, by the way. And you can see that left foot looking like it is on the chalk. I would not be surprised to see this one coming back.
After review, the pass has been ruled incomplete. The catch was made out of bounds.
And it's a good challenge for the Adams, and so instead of it being maybe a 38-yard attempt, it'll be closer to a 45-yard attempt if they try and go and tack on 3 points via the way of a Sonny J field goal.
And Sonny J hit one from 46 just a few minutes ago. 44 or 48 as it stands now would be at least as manageable, I would think.
Snap spot from the left hash. The kick is up, and it is through the uprights from 47 yards out. And Salt Lake City extend the lead back out to 10. It's 30-20. As we invite you all to visit the all-new SFL League website at www.simulationfl.net For info on how to create a player to join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it, links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL. It's over 1,500 games and it's thousands of players who have hit the virtual field. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy.
We sure do.
As we get going again via another kickoff from Sonny J, as Mackenzie Traeger gets the return started from about the 1, jukes one man and takes it down to about the 23 before he's taken down with 9 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
And this is where things get interesting. You got a quarter to play. You're down 2 scores. You have arguably the best running back in the league, Douglas Brown. But as the minutes disappear from the clock, your opportunities to use Brown, and you see the numbers for him right there after 20 carries, those are going to diminish as well. So you want to even this game as much as you can, but you also want to get Brown as involved as you can.
Goal line set, looking to go his way. Instead, it'll be a passing play as Blanton fires to the far side. That one is caught and good for a pickup of about 6 yards to Paulie Truth. His first reception after coming off injury last week, as it's now the fourth quarter, 11 minutes left to go in regulation. Salt Lake leads the defending champions 30-20. Get your 4s and 86s up in chat. You're watching the SFL Minor League Playoffs on YouTube. Welcome back to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm Tyler Falk alongside Josh Zirkle with the commissioner and producer Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. Glad to have you here for the first SFL Minor League semifinal game of Season 3, as the first play of the fourth quarter is a pass to Henry Meyer III. He's been relatively quiet all today, but that reception will result in a first down for the Adams. And that's a good way to get us going here in the fourth quarter, as Ritters is usually a feature wide receiver, but last week he was all Henry Meyer III, picking up close to 200 receiving yards, and it's a good start to the drive here in the fourth quarter. Nate Ritters this time gets in on the reception. That's his third reception. He's got 113 yards on the day.
And most of those coming in very explosive chunks. Basically the same play twice. One of those good for a touchdown. One of them not quite a touchdown, but led to points. And he has been the focal point of the offense so far, if only from the production standpoint.
Goal line set again. 4-3 look from the Rustlers. Oh, like actually sent blitz, then backs off, pass to the far side. This time it's going to go in and out of the hands of the intended target. That's Paulie Truth trying to make it 2 reception on 2 attempts, but this time the tackle, as the ball was coming his way, forces the incompletion.
Yeah, sometimes the truth hurts, and Paulie Truth is going to hurt after that play. Just got absolutely blasted trying to come up with that ball. Salt Lake City defensive backs finishing strong here in the fourth quarter.
High snap hauled in by Blanton. Pass deep over the middle, and it's into double coverage just out of the outstretched arms of Nate Ritters. Incomplete. Fourth down here in the fourth quarter, and you're down by 10, Josh.
Yeah, and Ritters looked like he didn't get as good a ball from Blanton as he did maybe on those first 2 attempts. It looked like they ran that same play again with Ritters running the post. Blanton didn't quite get it there. But Albuquerque still has plenty of time. 2 scores, 10 minutes to play. You have all 3 timeouts. Punting's a smart play here.
Bennington's punts a high, Sparling. Hang time about 4 and 1 seconds, and instead of going forward, Hickman goes backward. That's going to set the Salt Lake City Rustlers offense back a little bit to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We will see a special teamer do that once in a while. You always want to run forward with those punts. And if you can't run forward, you have this thing where you just put your hand over your head and shake it all about. It's called a fair catch. Or the hokey pokey, depending on where you do it.
There you go. As here come the Rustlers offense to start another drive. Utah back in the gun will fire it far side to a wide open receiver. And it's a good play on first down, results in 15 yards.
Torrey Perry, the backup tight end, he's made a contribution in multiple ways. And there he is all by himself. Hey, does anybody want to cover Torrey Perry tonight? And then finally, Don Fletcher gets over there and shuts him down, but not before he gets the first down.
Good little start to the drive as they get everybody involved here tonight. Mike Crest, Grant Hickman, and now Torrey Perry gets involved. They're just spreading the love as Utah is trying to find the open man. He's back to pass again, has time, fires over the middle into, this time into coverage, and again getting his hands on it is Julian Erasmus.
Rasmus, we've talked a lot about his great pass coverage and the hook zone as an interior linebacker. And Tommy Utah has got to be more responsible with the football than that.
Single back, 3 wide outs, 1 man in the slot. That's Grant Hickman. And Beisel up the middle, and Beisel, she can't find a hole as that was plugged quickly by the Adams defense. Yarkov, Zolotov, and a few others in to send Beisel to the ground.
Yes, Adams defense coming up big now, Tyler, getting into a 3rd and long. Going to make Salt Lake City do some things they don't want to do. And that's a mark of a champion defense. Get this offense out of their comfort zone.
3rd and 10 from the 30. Utah back to pass. Fires it deep over the middle. Holden! And Kelsey Brown will flip the field for Salt Lake City.
And that is an absolutely huge catch by one of the best playmakers in the SFL minor league. And Utah, great drop, and just throws an absolute dime to Kelsey Brown, who catches it in stride, finds a perfect seam between 3 defenders. And just like that, they are knocking on the door.
Now from the Albuquerque 32-yard line. Utah back to pass again. Has time, fires over the middle, trying to find Grant Hickman, and it'll just float through his hands and fall incomplete.
And not a bad incomplete, and I think Utah could feel the rush closing in on him. Knew he had to get the ball out, managed to do so. And Hickman well covered there. You could say he's got to come up with that catch, but I think that was good defense by Albuquerque.
Now the Rustlers will go into the power I. Here on 2nd down. Utah back to pass, trying to find the out near side. That's Kelsey Brown. She hauls it down and will pick up 6 yards. And it'll be 3rd and quite manageable here for the Rustlers. And that's been something they have done well today compared to last week, is convert on 3rd down.
Absolutely. And they've done a nice job of just staying on schedule or even ahead of schedule most of the game. Now 3rd and 4 here. You can hand it off to Beisel and kick the field goal and make this a 13-point game, or you can take a shot.
Coverage is going to play the wide receivers at the line to gain. Utah pass over the middle. That's hauled in. Yaron Hammer. What a day he's having. And they're inside the red zone.
And I think the hardest catch to make is the one where the ball is over your head, because if you take any contact at all, that ball just gets whipped out of you. But Yaron Hammer gets that thing, and he brings it into his body so fast that it doesn't really have anywhere to go once he takes impact. That is just an outstanding catch, and great job tucking the ball in by Yaron Hammer.
Now they're knocking on the door, 13 yards out from Paydirt. Beisel gets the call. She'll end up going backward on the play as Hunter Hyde makes the tackle.
And I would just run with Beisel 2 more times here. Whether she gets it or not, you're taking time off the clock, and you're going to add 3 more points to make the job that much harder for the Adams offense. Clock ticking away here. You want to keep doing that.
7 minutes. Over 7 minutes left to go in regulation. Beisel again getting the call, and will pick up about the yards she lost and a couple more. It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 12.
In Albuquerque, when they get the ball back, whether they're down by 10 points or 13 points or some other margin, they're not going to be able to go to Douglas Brown as much as they would like, because they will need 2 scores, and you're going to have to throw the ball, and you're going to have to put it back in the hands of Trellis Bland.
Quick drop, quick throw over to Brown, and Brown unable to hold that one in, and it'll fall incomplete and stop the clock. with about 6.5 to go.
Yeah, interesting decision, because that's another 30 seconds you're giving back to Albuquerque. And especially to run that out route, where even if it is Kelsey Brown, she's about 7 yards short of the sticks, but she's got to make a move and turn upfield. And that is just a play that is just not fair to anybody involved. That's really tough to pull off. And now you're giving Albuquerque a gift, 35 seconds.
So a familiar sight we've seen today. Sonny J on to attempt a field goal, and he remains perfect today. A field goal is good from 28 yards, and it's a 13-point advantage for the Salt Lake City Rustlers. Keep up with the SFL and its teams on social media at Simulationfl. Follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy the broadcast each week with hashtag #MakeItImpact. Thank you for your support and your viewership.
You're welcome.
There we go, Josh, as the kicks away from Sonny J to get us going once more, as Mackenzie Traeger gets the return started near side, has a few blockers in front of him, but he's taken down at the 23 by Kenny Slider. And now with 6.5 to go, it's do or die time for the Adams. They have to get points on this drive.
Absolutely, and I see them going back to Nate Ritter's, whether it's the post route or something else. You've got to get some big gains on offense, even if you're putting the football in harm's way. And Ritter's the only one to find the end zone for Albuquerque so far tonight on offense.
Blanton back to pass, fires near side as Ritters gets the reception on first down and picks up 7.
And that is a nice job getting out of bounds as well, preserving time. The clock is not your friend right now if you're Albuquerque. So everything that you were doing in the first 3 quarters of this game, you're going to have to adapt toward the clock now, because you need to get 2 touchdowns, and you've got to do it in less than 6.5 minutes.
Now on 2nd and 3, the Adams come out in a strong eye set. 2 wide receivers to the right. Handoff Brown near side, tries to get away from one, but it does fall forward to pick up the first down as the clutches of Marcus Sledge and his strength wasn't able to hold him back.
And if you are going to go to Douglas Brown, I'd like to see a little bit of hurry up here. We've seen some other SFL minor league teams use it. Albuquerque, not so much, but this is really a perfect opportunity, especially if it's a chance to keep Douglas Brown in the game.
1st and 10 from their 33. They go to Brown again, near side. This time, this time it's going to be Vincent Warren on the stop, only a pickup of 1 for Douglas Brown.
And the clock continues to run, and I think Warren is just fine not only making a tackle like that, but wouldn't mind necessarily giving up a few more yards to Brown, because they are not operating with as much urgency as you'd like to see between plays here.
Just over 5 minutes left to go in regulation. Down by 13 are the Adams. And off Brown again, near side, spins back into his offensive line and will end up maybe losing a half a yard at the least.
And that's Bogey Barr. We talked about Barr at the open. The only player for the Salt Lake City defense to have a sack. And the challenge was issued to the rest of that defense, and I would say they've answered that challenge tonight.
Absolutely. Now, Albuquerque go to the air. Blanton fires near side as he maybe led Ritters a bit too far. Incomplete. 4th down.
And that's a tough spot for Albuquerque. With 4:39 down 2 scores, I think this is a situation where you do go for it. I could see them punting here and expecting their defense to go and make a play. Valentine had that pick 6 earlier. There may be some more magic for them on the defensive side of the ball. Looks like they're going for it, Tyler.
They're going to go for it. 4th and 9 from the 34. With 4:39 left to go in the 4th. Blanton back to pass. Fires near side. Caught! 1st down, Adams! And they go to the hurry up.
And now we're in a hurry up. And that is huge because you give Salt Lake City the ball back in field goal range if you don't get it.
Douglas Brown on the swing pass near side, tries to spin away from one. That's Gerard Brody who takes him down after maybe a pickup of one, and they're going back into the hurry-up. Everyone's sad as Blanton takes the snap. Fires to Brown, this time with a little bit more room to run. He spins upfield, picking up a couple more yards before being taken down by Matt Condor. And again, they hustle to the line. 3rd and 3 from the 49.
Brown had a chance to get out of bounds and couldn't do it.
Over the middle, that one's hauled in by Mackenzie Traeger, who had the big catch on 4th down. Another reception gets him another 1st down. Now on the 40 of Salt Lake. Blanton back to pass again. Fires deep over the middle, picked off by Salt Lake. Again, it's Isaiah King III, his 2nd pick of the game, and what a time, and what a place to do it.
That is absolutely clutch, and King ruling over the middle of the field, just like a monarch, living up to his name, making a huge catch by Ritters, was not going to let Ritters come up with another way there. Breaks a tackle, tramples an umpire, holds on to the ball. You can't do more than one play than Isaiah King did right there.
I can see it from Salt Lake City. Just taking their time, getting back to the line of scrimmage, as they'll probably look to milk as much clock off the ticker as much as they can. Beisel, a good run on 1st down, and it's 9.5 yards from Beisel, and it's a good start to the drive for Salt Lake.
That is exactly what you want to see, and Beisel has just been outstanding in this game. Salt Lake City offense in general, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. Sonny J, 4 field goals tonight. And they are 3 minutes away from putting a bow on this game and knocking off one of the great teams in our league.
Power eye set. Looking for the 1st down. They hand off to Beisel. She's taken down in the backfield for a loss of 1. A huge play from the defense, that being David Ware on the tackle for loss.
David Ware stepping up. He knows this game isn't over yet, but their margin for error is trailing. It's slimming, shrinking. They need some magic.
They need another stop, another tackle, in order to get the ball back. Utah in the gun, 2 wide receivers near side. He's back to pass, looks for the tight end on the far side. That's caught. It's Torrey Perry on the reception, and it's a 1st down for Salt Lake.
Torrey Perry has had his share of monster catches in this game, more than his share, obviously. Great job as we get to the 2-minute warning.
2 minutes to go in regulation. Albuquerque are 2 minutes away from having their perfection of a season come to an end in the playoffs. And for Salt Lake, this would be their first win over the Adams in franchise history, and they would punch their ticket to their first ever championship game. Handoff Beisel near side as we come out of the 2-minute warning. She'll pick up a couple, and now here come the timeouts from Albuquerque. Clock stops with 1:57 on the clock.
And hats off to the Rustlers, who knew exactly they had to play a near perfect game. And there were a couple of setbacks. Tommy Utah had those 2 interceptions late in the first half. But you take those away, Tyler, and this team has been gosh darn near perfect.
Utah in the gun, looking to pass with time over the middle and nearly picked off. Falls incomplete. Moses Talloway in on the coverage, and the clock stops with Albuquerque not having to use a timeout.
Yeah, and that is another gift there, and I would like to see Salt Lake City continue to run the ball. Terrell Sutherland is an option here. Beisel, obviously, an option here. And if you are going to throw it, it's got to be a high-leverage throw where you know you can complete it and keep your receiver in bounds.
2 backs in the backfield, 3 wide receivers here on 3rd down. 1:53 left to go. Handoff up the middle. That's going to be Terrell Sutherland on the carry. The fullback gets involved in the ground game. And Albuquerque will call their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining, and Salt Lake City will punt this one away.
And now Albuquerque getting the ball back. And Trellis Blanton is going to have to whip up a touchdown here fairly quickly and then convert an onside kick. With one timeout left, you can't count on your defense anymore.
A little bit of a wayward snap. That's hauled in by Frank Gussie as Mackenzie Traeger gets the return started from the 14-yard line, brings it upfield, is taken down at the 19-yard line. So 81 yards to go in order to climb back in this game. You have a minute 40 left to go. Miracles can happen in this league. We'll see if Blanton can lead a 2-minute drill drive down the field to bring his team back into it.
And you see the numbers for Douglas Brown. I'm curious to see what specifically he's going to do. And they've got a fullback lined up with him. That's Luke Waverly. What is the Albuquerque going to do on this drive?
It'll be a passing play on first down. They're immediately going to fire in far side. It's deflected and incomplete. Gerard Brody wants to make a play and did just like that. That could have been a one-play, 81-yard touchdown if not for him.
Yeah, and he was fortunate he got a hand on that. Ritters was behind him again. And Ritters actually had the ball hit him in the shoulder before he could swing around and face it, and it fell to the ground.
3 wide outs. 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Blanton. He's back to pass. This time just going a little swing pass to Brown, who hauls it in, but they're going to rule him incomplete on the sideline, so clock will stop with a minute 32, but it's 3rd and 10 now.
Yeah, and he needs to get that ball a split second sooner, Brown does, so he has a chance to actually turn upfield. And could have had a few yards and then gotten out of bounds. But now you're in a 3rd and very long. It almost doesn't matter at this point because you need to get farther down the field.
4 wide outs. You're in 4-down territory anyways, but it's 4 wide outs here on 3rd down. Blanton's going to dump it near side to Ritters. Ritters hauls it in, picks up 5, and now upcoming is the 4th down and probably the last offensive play of their season if they cannot convert here.
And they have some options here. Ritters, obviously Henry Meyer III, who we have not called his name quite a bit. And then don't forget Pauly Truth. And then Mackenzie Traeger, he can materialize with the ball as well.
3 wideouts offset here on 4th and 5. Blanton back to pass, floats it over the middle. That's going to fall incomplete. But we have a flag on the play. Let's get the call from R62.
Pass interference, number 45.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's going to be a defensive pass interference against Bogey Bar. And so a little bit more life has been breathed into Albuquerque's season.
And that's a break that Albuquerque absolutely had to have. Bogey Bar beside himself. There's a massive humanity making a play for that ball. I can't really speak to whether it was a good call or a bad call. But the reality is Albuquerque's got one more bite at the apple.
We'll see if they can capitalize on the mistake by Bogey Bar. 4 wideouts. Again, Blanton back to pass, looking deep down the middle of the field and finds his target. That's going to be Nate Ritters, and they're inside Salt Lake territory, and they'll call their final timeout.
And count the white jerseys around Ritters when he makes his catch, Tyler. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more coming into frame. That is getting it done in traffic with the game on the line. And Nate Ritter's coming up huge there.
1st and 10 from the Salt Lake City 45. A minute 19 left to go in the ball game. Blanton back to pass again. It's going to be a dump off for Brown near side. He can't get out of bounds, and the clock will continue to run as they hustle back to the line.
They've got to take a shot at the end zone here.
Blanton back to pass again. Steps up, pressure coming. Brown on the reception again. Hauls it in and steps out of bounds this time, which will stop the clock at a minute and 2 seconds. And it's 3rd and long now upcoming for the Adams.
So 4-down territory, as you've already said, you've got 2 plays. One of these has to be, if not in the end zone, at least toward the end zone. And give one of your players a chance to make a play and get a touchdown and maybe catch somebody from Salt Lake City out of position.
Blanton's back to pass on third down. Another deep ball far side. It's deflected again and it falls incomplete. Tony Williams again making the stop, and it's fourth down once more.
And Henry Meyer shaking his head. He knows that's the only chance he's going to get it. He's had lately to catch a ball. But Tony Williams, what an outstanding game he has played also. Just unbelievable the way that some of these backups have stepped up for Salt Lake City today.
Fourth down from the 47. Can Blanton find a man deep down the field? He fires, and it's into coverage. And Isaiah King, who had the interception that looked like it sealed it, seals it with a deflection. Salt Lake City are headed to the championship.
And King just right up in front of it. Ritters thought he had a chance to catch and run. It did not work out. And King, who's had 2 interceptions in this game, Tyler, maybe my player of the game, appropriately enough, knocking down the last pass I think we'll see from Albuquerque tonight.
It's a new day here in Albuquerque. No more Groundhog Day for Salt Lake City. They pull off the victory against the undefeated defending champs in the semifinals to send them to their first ever championship game in franchise history. And so in season 3, we will see 2 teams that have never been to the championship go for the title, as San Jose and Tacoma will face off shortly after this game's conclusion. But what a game from Salt Lake City. It's been said multiple times, Josh, that the game plan from Salt Lake City had to change, and it was to perfection or near perfection here today.
Yeah, my hat's really off to them. They, as I said, had to play nearly flawless. And Tommy Utah did have the 2 INTs. They did give up those 2 big gains to Nate Ritters, one of which went for a touchdown. But other than that, I don't know what else you could have asked from the Salt Lake City team. Top to bottom, starters, backups, offense, defense, special teams. They all got it done, and they nearly played flawlessly. And that's exactly what you had to do to beat the Adams, especially on their own field, Tyler, and they did it. Hats off. Congratulations to the Rustlers.
Absolutely. The time of possession, the third down conversions for Salt Lake City, I think were the biggest difference, not to mention those 3 interceptions, 2 by Isaiah King, the third, and 1 by Tony Williams. It was an all-around tremendous team performance for Salt Lake to get the W here today.
Yeah, and there's the touchdown, by Ritters. And you really got to give it up for Albuquerque, who had an outstanding season. 8-0 in the regular season, undefeated. And then coming out here with a really curious task, the team that they had blown out the week before. They knew that Salt Lake City was going to come out differently. They knew they were going to look at some different things. And obviously they knew that they had to change their game plan up as well. And we saw that to some extent. Douglas Brown, I think, only had 20 carries in the game, maybe 22. A very sharp contrast to his output. He had 29 in the game last week. And so Albuquerque, in the hustle and bustle, if you will, of making adjustments from week to week, just did not manage to do as good a job as Salt Lake City. And really, when you have a great season like that, it's tough to put that against them. They had a great run.
Player of the game goes to Tommy Utah, 30 of 45 with 281 yards and 2 touchdowns for the quarterback as he leads his team to their first ever championship ball game. And coming up later tonight, San Jose and Tacoma will fight for the other spot in that championship game. But from all of us here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for Josh Zorko, Cameron Irvine, and myself, Tyler Falk, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.